Hello YouTubers, just finished a good day's work, listening to a little bit of cheesy 80s music. um, anyway, I don't know what made me decide to do this, but I was going to share a story of my youth. I don't know if it'd be of any value to you, but it's definitely interesting. There was a period in my life, my family and I, see, I was in the 5th grade, and we lived without electricity for roughly, can't give you the exact amount of time, about 9 months. It was during the school year when I was in 5th grade. So there's a lot of people that are interested in living off the grid and stuff, and I have nothing against that, and that's cool and everything, but coming from a kid's point of view back then, wasn't really cool. I don't really remember it being cool. I wasn't into it. There at the end too, the neighbors they ran an extension cord, and we ran it into our house, and so we hooked it up to our TV in the living room. So there at the end, I was able to watch TV, on a Saturday night or what have you, and that was a really treat for me. But yeah, I'm thinking back and some of the things I went through during that time. And other than that, I was fine. My hygiene was well. We ate. We lived out of a cooler. Had a lot of cereal. I remember eating a lot of cereal, and we kept milk in a cooler, in our ice chest. And I remember it would be cold, and of course I would bathe, but it wouldn't be a nice hot shower. I mean, you got a rag, a bar of soap, and some shampoo, and you use cold water, and you just get in the tub, and you get it done, and get out, get clean, and get out. I remember that. Also, if there was any homework or anything, you definitely had to do it before it got dark, because I remember for a long time, once it was dark, that was it. Well, I think they had a lantern, but you pretty much just went to bed, and it's probably what they did back in the old days. Once it got dark, everybody just went to bed. There's nothing else to really do. I grew up with the fireplace, so I remember watching a fire sometimes. Something else that's kind of interesting, and maybe a lot of people don't think about it. Now, I grew up in a really cool neighborhood. It was a middle class neighborhood, a good neighborhood for a kid to grow up in, I feel. But what was tough is, because that was obviously living in poverty. We were living in poverty in a middle class neighborhood, so it's really unique and strange, and a lot of my friends knew what was going on and everything, and it just put on a very strange pressure. But I guess if I had to go back and do it all over again, it's better to go without electricity in a middle class neighborhood than a ghetto. So I'm not whining and crying about that. Also, I'm not talking bad if you live in a ghetto or anything. It's not about that. I'm just simply sharing, my story of what I went through, and that it really wasn't that interesting to live off what you would call off the grid without electricity. One thing I did learn, though, and still to this day, you can live without electricity. It's a drag, especially when we have hurricanes, and it's hot, and the mosquitoes are bad, and that's really, it's a drag. Going to sleep without AC, it's tough. But anyway, one thing I learned, you have to have running water. For your hygiene, wash dishes, flush the commode. So we had public water. So we always had water, and we just didn't have electricity during that time. But even now, I'm grown, and my home where I'm at now, I'm not in the city of Houston water. I have a water well. But when a hurricane comes, it's already instilled in my mind. I just know, it's like, I guess from when I was a kid, I automatically go and fill up the bathtub full of water. That way I can flush a commode. You use it for hygiene purposes, what have you. You have to have water. So thank God at least I had water. But no, this isn't really, like I said, to whine or anything. It's just an interesting story. I have no idea what made me decide to share this. I'm not ashamed of it, but it's definitely different, and you know, I can't help to think that I'm sure it's influenced me in one way or the other. How could it not, you know? So, and especially gave me a different perspective when I was a kid on different ways of life. Um, and I don't recall either, like, being jealous of my friends. As a matter of fact, a lot of my friends, for some crazy reason, would stay the night over there. I guess they thought it was camping. But I had a good friend. He would stay here like 3 days in a row, eat cold cereal with us, or beans and rice. And guy, he loved it. He must have been a real friend of mine. You know, we were friends when we were kids. We lost contact, but at one time we were really close. He was one of them. But had a group of us. They'd always come over. So I guess that didn't influence them. But yeah, 5th grade. Gosh, I'm kind of older now, so I'd hate to say about what year it was when it happened. Yeah, I went about 9 months out of the year without electricity, so I thought I would share this story. It's for entertainment. I hope you enjoy it. Um, anyway, that's about it. So thank you for listening, and I hope it entertains you. So you have a good day or a good evening. I bid you bye-bye.